Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of What's New in Serverless 360. This is Shrutivika and with me is Darshini Preetu from the Serverless 360 team. Our focus today is on highlighting the most recent releases from Serverless 360 for the month of November along with the new features we've added to the product. So, for those who don't know, Serverless 360 is an advanced cloud management platform designed specifically for Microsoft Azure, offering a comprehensive suite of tools within the four modules shown for efficient monitoring, tracing, remediation, and governance of your Azure ecosystem. Now, moving on to the next slide to see the latest product news and what's latest from the Serverless 360 community. We all know Microsoft Ignite is one of the premier conferences that developers and IT enthusiasts look forward to every year. And it just concluded, leaving the global audience all excited about the new capabilities. And yes, the team has made Azure Integration Environment and Business Process Tracking available to customers for public preview. And so we have released a video from the Microsoft MVP Mike Stephenson explaining the step-by-step procedure for setting up the Azure Integration Environment and Business Process Tracking in the Azure portal. We also have another video from Mike, which is a use case video demonstrating on how you could improve the visibility of PowerShell scripts. And when it comes to the audio side of things, we have got a new podcast from the Azure MVP Vladimir, hosted by Lex, which discusses on how to use Azure monitoring the right way. They discuss on topics like the extended capabilities of Azure Monitor, the pros and cons of it, and how the use of various monitoring solutions can help you create a comprehensive alerting and response system for your Azure environment. Next up, for all the avid readers out there, we have dropped blogs on topics like Azure Logic App Pricing that can help you understand the pricing structure and sheds light on how you can optimize your Logic apps to cut down on unnecessary tasks and save expense. And we have another blog on Azure Cosmos DB monitoring and a blog that explores Azure Integration Environment and Business Process Tracking. So we trust you'll find these resources valuable, and now I'll hand it over to Darshini to roll out the latest product features and give us a first-hand look through a demo.
Hi all, thanks Shruti for your insights. Let me now walk you through the feature releases of November month. Firstly, within business applications, we have introduced management and monitoring for Azure Automation runbooks, where the execution status of runbooks jobs can be monitored. Then in business activity monitoring, we have brought in support for custom deployment to deploy resources in different resource groups. Furthermore, in BAM, we have brought in support for user access policy in global properties management. Next, in Cost Analyzer, we have improvised the scheduling feature by adding two more resource types, namely the Data Factory pipeline and the Synapse pipeline. Also, an improvement is made to change the tire of virtual machines during up and down hours. Lastly, within Azure Documenter, we have Activity Logs API in Audit Report, where it's now improvised and made useful with major activities being covered with respect to resources being added, modified, and deleted, along with the track of the user who did the activity. So that's it with the gist of release items. Let me now demonstrate on how these features operate. Let's start with automation runbooks within business application. So this is how the overview page looks like with all the basic details about the resource. Next, in the job history tab, we'll be listed with all the runbook jobs with its status. So clicking upon this job will have its details. And we can also stop, suspend and resume these jobs. And we also have a filter option. So filters can be made based on the status or the from and to date. And moving on to the monitoring, it is possible to monitor the jobs for failures, and we can also create automated tasks. So once this automated task is configured, automated task will be initiated and a job will be created. So that's it with the feature. Then we have the BAM module where we have the custom deployment. So to do this, let me first get started with the BAM. So click on the get started button here and click on the use your Azure subscription. Click on next. So here you can click on the desired subscription within which the resources needs to be deployed, and then click on next. So in the details tab, you'll be shown with the improvised deployment flow. So here the user can either use existing or create a new resource choosing between different resource groups and their locations. So you can click on the resource group in which you want to deploy, and you can either choose use existing and click on the resource that is within that resource group, or click on create new and type in the desired storage account's name. So here I'm going to click on the existing resource, and then Once you provide with all the valid details here, you can click on validate and check if all your provided details are correct and click on the initiate deployment to initiate the BLAM deployment as like before. So that's it with this feature. Next, within BAM, we have user access policy for global properties, wherein previously user who has contributor access to BAM module can only have access to the global properties section. But now we have added a separate role for global properties, so users can create a role having access to only viewing global properties or can enable the manage option to create, edit, manage, and delete global property. So that's it for BAM module. In cost analyzer module, we have virtual machine resizing with cost analyzer optimization schedules, where initially in virtual machines section, we only had the ability to start and deallocate the virtual machines during the up and down hours. When there comes a requirement where the user will want the virtual machines running, but he wants to resize its tier to lower level only during the down hours, and so to address such requirements, we have brought in the resizing option. So as you can see in the up config, you'll be able to either update the state or resize by choosing any of the virtual machine sizes. You can also choose the particular size for the down config as well, based on which you'll be listed with the estimated cost and optimized cost along with the savings. This implementation is available for virtual machine scale set as well. So let me show you an sample alert where you get to see the particular virtual machines being resized to much higher size during the up hours. Similarly, the same will be followed up for the down hours within optimization. So that's it with this. Now let's see Data Factory and Synapse pipeline schedules, where these two are brought in within schedules for cost analyzer. Let's start by creating a schedule. I'll name this as schedule and click on next and choose the desired up and down hour for the configuration, and let me select the subscriptions for which my Synapse pipelines and my Data Factory pipelines needs to be listed. So this will be listed along with the triggers that are associated with each pipeline. So by default, whenever a resource is selected, we'll be selecting all the triggers for the up and down config, where the user can deselect or select based on his needs. So the selected triggers will be started and will be stopped during the up and down hours. So let me show you a sample alert which states that the triggers in the previous state are started and the next state has been stopped. So that's it with this. Lastly, within Azure Documenter module, we have improvised version of resource auditing document, where we are now consuming the Azure Activity Logs API to fetch the audit data. Earlier, we cover only the operations at resource level. Now it's extended to resource groups along with the track of the user who has done that operation. So here is a sample generated document which consists of audit summary. By clicking upon a subscription, we'll navigate to a page where added, deleted, modified resource types with added, deleted resource groups are listed. Furthermore, to know what all resources were added, click upon it to get to know the details of resources that were added. And for a resource that is actually modified, you can also get to know what was its previous and new changes made. So the demonstration part concludes here. Now let's explore what December has in store for Serverless 360. So in business application, we are going to bring in support for Azure Databricks, where the inner resources like jobs, pipelines can be managed and monitored for failures. Next, in resource availability monitoring, which will help to identify the resources that are unavailable due to user error or service unavailability, which is a generic feature applicable to all the resources. Then we have SQL query consumption analysis, where the performance of the queries executed in a database can be analyzed and best practices will be recommended based on the usage pattern. Lastly, in BA, in addition to the metrics and properties monitoring, we are bringing in support to monitor activity logs, where scenario like monitoring a secret deletion, regeneration of a key can be monitored, which will be applicable to all the resource types within Azure. Then in Cost Analyzer, we are extending the analysis of resource cost further into service and meter level to get a clear picture of what aspect of a resource is responsible for cost spikes. Then we have customizable right sizing configuration, where in right sizing we provide default configuration considering memory and CPU of VMs and app service plan Now we are planning to make it customizable, so based on different metrics available for resource types, users can themselves configure the right sizing configuration. Next, within weekly, monthly alerts based cost spent is going to be introduced, where a consolidated report of how much has been spent in a week or month and comparing that with the previous period will be sent as a summary alert for the users to understand the cost difference or any spikes that has been occurred. Lastly, in Azure Documenter, we have access report where we already have a user access report which gives details about the users who got access at different resource group, resource or subscription level. Now we are extending it to Active Directory group, service principal and managed identity. So with this report, the entire access for a subscription can be easily viewed. So that's it with the updates of what's coming up next within Serverless 360. And Shruti, I will hand it over to you now.
Thanks for the informative updates, Darshni. So, for people interested in knowing about Serverless 360, do have a scan of this QR to get a personalized demo. You can also check out the description box for the links of blogs, YouTube videos mentioned, and also have access to the release notes of current and previous month's features. Thank you.